Well, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good midnight. I'm not sure who's here, but welcome to everyone. It's been a very warm winter in Sedona, Arizona this year. It's been about 75 degrees Fahrenheit, which is, I think, 23 degrees Celsius, with bright blue skies and a lot of sun. So we're all enjoying that. No snow whatsoever. I hope you are having at least as good a winter as you can. And if it's cold, I hope you have fires and enjoy skiing. So let's have the first slide. That's our title slide. And today we're going to complete the collection of the consonants. As you recall, we have 25, and there are 8 or 10 more, which we will get today. So let's have the next slide. Okay. Before we jump into consonants, I wanted to briefly introduce you to sandhi. So here's a nice word. We know how to pronounce it. There's a nice for the first vowel and a short palatal for the second vowel. Sandhi. Now, this is an important set of grammar rules that tell us how to change vowels and consonants when they are combined in certain ways. So it's different every time you combine two new sounds or two new words. And Sanskrit is a sound-based language. So this means we actually change the way we write vowels and consonants in a written word, depending on how they sound. And in terms of speaking or listening, they will change as well. And that's why we write them differently to reflect the way they sound to a Sanskrit ear. And we'll learn more about sandhi in the coming lessons, but I just wanted to introduce you to the idea. So let's have the next slide. Here's an example. This beautiful Devanagari word is Sanskrta. Sam, there's that anusvara. Skr, a vocalic R, the R used as a vowel, and ta, Sanskrta. Now you will remember from learning about the anusvara, which is the last of our 16, well, it's the next to the last of our 16 vowels. It's that it's an M sound. It nasalizes the previous vowel into more of an M sound. Now, to the Sanskrit ear, you cannot pronounce an M before S. You would have to say Sanskrit. They think you can't say that. So we must change it to an N when we're writing it in Ayast. When you write it in Devanagari, it stays M, but it's pronounced N. But when you write it in Ayast, we change it to the proper N. So it becomes Sanskrta. Now, everybody open their mics and we're going to practice saying the first one as it's written and the second one as we've changed it. So mics open, say with me with an M sound.
Samskrita.
Samskrta.
Samskrita.
Samskrta. Good.
Samskrita.
Now say with me that same word, but using an N sound. Sanskrita.
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 Does it sound easier to say Sanskrita?
Yes. Yes. Much easier.
I think it does, doesn't it?
Yep.
So there's something to it.
Like in samsara?
Very much like in samsara. We should not be saying samsara. We should be saying what?
Sansara.
Ansara.
Sansara.
Samsara. They're all short vowels. Samsara.
Sansara.
Samsara.
Sansara.
Yes, very good. Exactly. Now, in one or two more lessons, we will learn about the M's and the N's and what letter the M changes into. It's not always a dental N. It is in Sanskrit. Well, actually, it's not. Yes, it is. Sanskrita, because that S that follows the M is a dental sibilant. We'll learn that today. And in samsara, it's the same, M to a dental sibilant, sa. So that dental, nasal, instead of a ma, is a na, fourth varga na. And we know that one. So it's an example of how letters change depending on what other letters they are combined with. Okay, so that's just an introduction. We'll do more in, I think, 2 lessons from now. So let's have the next, before that, let's stay with Sunday. I want us to sing the vowel song, okay? Again, everyone please open your mics and we're going to sing with me. Good. One more time. Wonderful. Okay, now from a question? No? Okay. From memory now, we're going to sing the 25 main consonants, which we learned last time. So you may not remember them, but I want us to be able to recite them without necessarily looking at our notes so we can internalize what they sound like and their order. And remember, it's the first varga is guttural, tongue way back in the back of your throat. Second varga is palatal. Make your tongue flat and pull it back and put it up against the roof of your mouth. Third varga is cerebral. Tip of your tongue straight up into your brain. Fourth varga is dental. Tongue is right behind your front teeth, up on that little bump. Fifth varga is labial. So we're going to use our lips. Okay, so let's start with the 25 main consonants. We're going to recite them. Open your mics and say with me, ka, ka, cha, cha, ja, ta, ta,
na,
ta, ta, da, da,
na, pa, 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 Ma.
Ba.
He's way ahead of me. Good. Let's do that last fifth varga again. Pa, pa,
Ma.
Great. Very, very good. Okay. All right, let's have the next slide now. Right. So the next presentation is 8 or 10 more consonants. And then we will have all the vowels. How many vowels are there in our system?
16.
Sweet 16. Good.
Sweet 16.
Yes. And so far we have 25 consonants, and we're going to get 8 or 10 more. 8 of them are definitely part of the Sanskrit consonant family. And they are the 4 semivowels. Sometimes they're referred to as semiconsonants. And the reason is that they function occasionally as vowels and vowels and occasionally as consonants. And I sometimes refer to them as the semiconsonants. So it can go either way. I forget which one I should use, so I tend to switch back and forth. It's the same group of 4. Then there are the 3 sibilants, and sibilant is a sort of grammar linguistic term for a S sound, right? A hissing sound. So there are 3 different sibilants in Sanskrit. Then there's the letter H. Oh, yeah. It's all by itself. It doesn't really belong to any family. It's not a semivowel. It's not a sibilant. And it's not one of the main 25 consonants. So I call it the orphan letter, poor H. But there it is. And we just put it in the group with the sibilants. And then I'm going to give you 2 common compound consonants. Sanskrit is a language, like many others, I believe, like Russian and like Greek, and to some degree, even English, where we have compound consonants. And many words have 2 or 3 consonants put together into one sound. And pretty much it's easy to figure out what the compound consonants are once you know the Devanagari for the main ones. But these 2 are written in a very unusual way, and they're fairly common. So I'm going to show them to you so you won't be shocked later on. Okay, let's see. Oh, and also, I'm going to introduce 10, but generally we're going to make a count of the alphabet with Abugida, with 16 vowels, 25 main consonants, and 8 extra ones. So that makes 49 letters in Sanskrit. If you look at different grammars, you might see a different number because different grammarians count letters in different ways. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Yukta. My math is not always so good. But for our purposes, we're going to say there are 49 Devanagari letters in Sanskrit. Okay. And if you see different numbers, you know that it's all your own perception. So does this remind you of anything? Pens and shoe toys, maybe. There's no absolute number that's correct. Okay, next slide. So here are the 4 consonants. Somebody else already knows them. All right, close your mic though, because we're going to present it to people who don't know in a slower manner. The top left is the ya, and the top right is the ra. Bottom left is the la, and bottom right is the va. So some people say wa for the va. We say va. Geshe Michael goes back and forth, but even Geshe Michael always says vajra, which means diamond, and that's the va sound. So I prefer that one, but the other one is not wrong. So there's an American saying that mothers sometimes tell their young, very gentle sons, if they have a gentle nature, they tell them to encourage them. They say, "You're not a fighter, you're a lover." It's very sweet. And I like to think of that American idiom because these four semiconsonants are ya, ra, la, va, which maybe with a little bit of a Brooklyn accent, which is from New York City, is you're a lover, yara lava. So to me, that's an easy way. I like silly mnemonics, as you may have seen. An easy way to remember the four semiconsonants, the semivowels in the correct order. Yara lava. Okay, so.
I have a question.
Yes.
The la semi-consonant is the same than the lir?
We're going to come to that one. That's a great question. One or two more slides from now.
All right.
Okay, that's an excellent observation. So the pronunciation of yara lava is very much like English, which is our standard here because I'm an English speaker. And I want to make a point about the ra. This is a very strong rolled R sound. And it's much more like, I think, the Russian R and the Spanish R. So we're going to say ra. Everybody open their mics and say ra.
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 We have a Russian speaker here, don't we? Can you say ra for us?
Ra.
Good. And we have a Spanish speaker, I think. Can you say ra?
Ra.
Ra. See, it's strong rolled ra.
Ra.
Yeah.
Ra.
Now, this is a semivowel, semiconsonant. So it's sometimes used as a vowel. And we have learned how the vowel sounds in our vowel song. How do we pronounce this letter if it is a vowel?
Ra.
No.
Er.
Er. Er.
Er.
I, U, U, er.
Er.
That is the vowel version of this semiconsonant. So if you see a R, it's going, I mean, if you see a vowel R, it's going to be pronounced R. But if you see a consonant vowel, semivowel, it's going to be pronounced Ra. So no rolling in the R. It's more like a French R, but lots of rolling in the consonant. Ra, ra. And we can have, think of words like Raja, which means king. Raja, Raja. And we can think of words like, verde, verde, which has a vowel sound. So I'll say them again. The first is the vowel, verde. That's a kind of vowel. It's not a guna, it's a verde. It's a increased vowel like ow and I. That's a vocalic R, the name of that category. And the consonant R is Raja, king, very much different sound. Okay. So let me see. Okay. So my next note to myself is to say, Does one of these look familiar? And one has already answered this question. Which one looks familiar?
La.
La. Not la. La. Good.
Oh, la.
L.
Very good. And next slide, please. This is the consonant L, semivowel, semiconsonant. We just saw this. And let's have the next slide. This is the vowel L. So what's the difference?
Yeah, the little tail.
Exactly. The little tail. So the first one is L, the semiconsonant. The second one is the vowel L.
Yeah. Mm.
So you notice there are slightly different ways of writing these semi-vowels when they are A, a vowel, or B, a consonant. And at least for these two, different ways of pronouncing them. So you want to learn to recognize these sounds. Now, what is a third option we could imagine seeing in this group? We have L, Lir. What's missing? Think of the vowel song.
The long L.
Yes, we only have Lir here. We don't have Lir.
Mm.
And the reason is it's a letter without a word. There are no Sanskrit words that have a long Lir. I researched it a little bit, and it seems to be a residue of an older, much older version of Sanskrit, probably even before the Vedas. If you remember our history lesson in our first lesson, classical Sanskrit, which is what the Buddha spoke and which is what we are studying, came about around 400 BCE, before the Christian era, Common Era. And Vedic Sanskrit goes back to 1200 or even 1800 years before the Common Era. So another 12 to 1300 years before classical Sanskrit. And the long lir may have gone back even farther before that, but nothing much is left written from that time period, so we don't really know. Okay.
Okay.
Questions? Good. Next slide, please. And here are the last of the additional 8 not main consonants, but classic consonants. And these are the 3 sibilants and the h, which is the orphan letter, doesn't have any class of its own. So from top left to right, the first letter there is a palatal shra. So you put your tongue flat, pull it back in your mouth, and put it up on the bump of that's there. Everybody open their mics and say with me, shra,
Shra.
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 Very hard to say. So that's the palatal shra, and the IAS form has that little mark over the S. The second one in that row, top right, is the cerebral. And that's still challenging, but a little bit easier to say. So put the tip of your tongue up into your brain and say, shra,
Shra.
shra. Good.
Shra.
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 Yeah. Shra. It's not that easy, but it's a little more reasonable to me than shra. And to be very honest, when you're actually reading a whole line of Sanskrit, Generally speaking, I just say sha and sha. I can't really distinguish properly between them. So make a good sha sound and you'll be okay. But you do know now how to very properly pronounce them in case you're teaching someone or helping someone else with that. Okay, the bottom left is a plain dental sa. Say sa, sa, sa.
Sa. Sa.
Good. Sa. To me, I pronounce this more like a English sa, although technically you should be having the tip of your tongue against that bump behind your front teeth. Sha. It's hard to say that, so we just generally say sa. Okay. And the last letter, the bottom right, is the h. Everybody say h.
H.
Yeah.
Ah.
Very good. Okay. And the h is guttural, which makes sense because you put it in the back of your throat. All right, so let's see how they stack up against the 25 main consonants. So first, let's review that main grid. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is the main one I use when I'm practicing writing my consonants because it has the 5 vargas and the 5 columns, and it's the main 25. But next slide, here it is with the main 25 filled in. And remember that the rows are the vargas, and the mouth positions for the first varga is that's the guttural, tongue way back in the throat. Second varga is palatal, tongue is flat, pulled back and pushed up. Third varga is cerebral, tip of the tongue straight up into the brain. Fourth varga is dental, so the tip of the tongue is against the bump behind your front teeth. And the fifth varga is labial, so you use your lips pronouncing these letters. Then we learned the hard and soft letters. The first 2 columns are hard, and the last 3 columns are soft. Now, this is not so important right now. It will be more important when we learn the sandhi rules, because that will affect what letters you change into based on what letters surround them. But I wanted to present that now so you get used to the idea that there are hard and soft letters. The aspirated and unaspirated and nasal descriptions have more to do with how you pronounce them. So hard and soft doesn't have anything to do with pronunciation. Aspirated, unaspirated, and nasal has to do with pronunciation. So again, we add a breath sound to the aspirated letters. The unaspirated letters are just plain, no breath sound. So the first 2 in the first varga would be ka and k. And the nasals just, send the sound straight up your nose and say na, 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 and ma. So much more nasal sound. All right. Now look at the, we have to look at the next slide. Oh, first, before the next slide, sorry. Let's pronounce them one more time. So now that we've just reviewed the breath sounds, the nasals, and the vargas, let's say them properly and open your mics and say with me, ka, ka,
Ka,
Ka, na,
Na.
ka,
No.
ka,
Na.
sha,
Ah.
cha,
Ya. Ya.
Na.
Nya.
cha, ta, ta,
Na.
da,
Da.
ra,
Da.
da, da, na, ta, ta,
Ta.
da,
Da.
ta, da, ta, na, ta, ta,
Ah.
pa, pa,
Ba. Ba.
pa,
Ma.
ma. Very good. All right, next slide. And here they are in Devanagari. So we know how to pronounce Devanagari too, don't we? How many long vowels in Devanagari?
uh, 4 long vowels.
Long vowels, 2 beats.
4
4,
from the 16.
3.
3. The A is always long. That's a gimme, a gift. Day. The V is short. There's no mark on it. But there is a mark on the N. So that would be N. And the G is short, 1 beat. But there's a long mark on the E. So it's 2 beats. E, E, E. So we're going to say De, Va, Na, Ga, Ri. De, Va, Na, Ga, Ri. Say with me. Open your mics. De,
Va. Nagari.
Devanagari.
3.
Devanagari.
Devanagari.
Devanagari. So that makes it sound different, right? Doesn't have an accent. It's just beats. Devanagari. Okay. So we won't spend too much time on this, but I wanted you to see, get used to what the Devanagari looks like for each IS letter. We're going to say them again out loud, but this time we'll go a little slower. And please look at the Devanagari that goes with each letter. So one more time. Open your mics. Ka, ka,
Ka. Ka.
ka, ga, ga,
Ga.
na,
Na.
tra,
Tra. Tra.
Ga. Ga.
ga,
Ya.
Na.
na,
Nya.
ta, ta,
Da.
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 Da. Na.
Da. Da.
ta, ta,
Da.
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 Ta. Na.
Da. Na.
pa,
Pa.
Ba.
Pa.
Ba.
Pa.
Ba.
Ma.
Ba.
ma.
Ma.
Great. Okay. So one thing to notice, the line that goes across the top of all Devanagari letters is the sutra, long U there. And sutra, you may have learned this in Buddhist studies, can be a verse or, a story, a teaching spoken in the Buddha's own words, or it just means a thread, a line. So the sutra is the line that goes above all Devanagari letters. And I want to point out here that some of these letters break the sutra. So there's not a completely solid line above. I think it's 3 of these letters. Can anybody tell me which vargas the broken sutras are in?
The 4th varga, da.
4th varga has 2. This slide is a little blurry, but it has two in the fourth varga. Which ones?
Ta, da.
Okay. Ekaterina, no, the ja is not broken. It has a little upright on that first part of the ja. Ekaterina is talking about, I think, the second varga, the fourth letter, ja. That is a solid sutra. But in the fourth varga, the ta and the da, the two aspirated letters, have a broken line. And anything else?
In the fifth varga.
Yes, which one?
Ba.
Bah.
Ba.
Bah is broken. Yeah. And I was always very offended by these two letters because to me, the bah looks very much like the following letter, which is ma, but it's not the same letter.
Mm.
And I was like, how can they do this? Why did they not make them more different? Couple of the vowels have broken sutras also. I think mostly and So watch out for those. Okay, so now we're going to see where these extra 8 letters appear in this main grid of 25. So I already gave them to you. They are ya, ra, la, va, the 4 semivowels, and sha, sa, and ha, the 4 sibilants and the orphan. So let's examine those a little more. Let's have the next slide. Okay, so here's an expanded grid. And you can see that there is no semivowel guttural, no first varga semivowel. So the first semivowel ya starts in the second varga and goes down from there. And there is no fifth varga sibilant. So there's no hissing sound that you're going to make with your lips. I don't even think it would be possible. So the h is guttural and the sibilants are in the middle there. So ya and ra, well, ya is palatal, ra is cerebral, la is dental, and va is labial. You don't really put your lips together, but you sort of bite your lip when you say va. So the one thing to notice is something we know about the third varga, the cerebral varga, is that when you write these letters in IAST, what is the characteristic in IAST that tells us it's a cerebral letter?
The little dot.
Yes. Now look at that ra. Does the ra have a dot?
No.
No, but it is a cerebral letter. And something interesting is that the vowel er, when it's written as a vowel or used as a vowel, will have a dot under it. Now, actually, this is quite logical because IAST was created to be a transliteration system. And because the third and fourth vargas are very similar, they had to find some way of distinguishing the cerebral letters in IAST from the dental letters. But the ra is unique. The fourth varga, the dental, has no similar letter. So we can just have RA, and that is always going to be a semivowel, the same one. There's no option there. Whereas with the ta and the ta, there is an option. depending on where your tongue is. So does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah, but they should they should have invented the dot also in the ra,
Oh,
so we don't get confused.
so bad. But let's think. If they
With
had
logic.
if logic, but not functional.
Exactly.
Because if you had a dot under the ra, when it was a consonant, you wouldn't know when it was a vowel.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They actually thought this through. So anytime you see an R in IAST with a dot under it, it's a vowel form of the semivowel. Anytime you see an R in IAST with no dot under it, it's a consonant form of the semivowel. If you saw the word in IAST Raja, king, no dot under the R. But if you saw the word Vrdi, which means the increased vowel, you would see a dot and you would know it's a vowel.
Okay. Get it.
Yeah,
Okay.
give in.
That's good.
I had to give in too, right? And not to worry about this now, but just so you know, the semivowels are soft, unaspirated, and the sibilants are hard, aspirated. That's how they're considered. The h is a soft, unaspirated. Oh, I'm sorry, soft, aspirated letter. So not to worry about that now, but in case anyone is wondering. And the most important thing to learn right now is how to pronounce them correctly. And I think we are doing that. Okay. But we said there were 10 extra consonants, right? So far, we've had 4 semivowels and 3 sibilants and 1 orphan, ha. So that's only 8. So 2 more are coming. Let's have the next slide. Oh, but first, yeah. Oh, that's what I just said. But first, let's look at the next slide. Before we get to the extra 2, does anyone recognize this from the previous chart? Say that again.
Ha.
Ha.
Ha. Ha.
Ha. Perfect. That's perfect. Ha. It's not so much ha as ha. And Yukta put it in the chat as well. Yeah, this is a consonant ha in Devanagari. And it's, I think, one of the prettiest letters to draw and one of the hardest to draw. So at some point, maybe next week, we'll practice drawing them. But I wanted to mention that you might get confused between the ha and the next letter we're going to look at. Let's have the next slide. What is this letter? Do you remember?
Aha.
Aha. Yes. Aha.
Aha.
It's next. Oh, it's the last 16 vowels. And it's more of a vowel marker, but it's always associated with a vowel. So we group it in with the list of vowels. And it's called visarga. And what it does is it adds a breath sound to whatever the vowel is before it. Sometimes it's associated with a consonant, but not usually. Now, it sounds like aha, and it could be confused with the ha. But this is a breath sound attached to a vowel, and the ha is a regular consonant. So a word would never start, for instance, with visarga, which is this, but it could start with the h consonant. So it's just like a regular consonant. And they are two different sounds. A h is a breath sound, and h is a guttural. Okay, so just so you don't get confused, let's look at the next slide. Okay, here is the word for hand. Hasta. Everybody open their mics and say hasta.
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 Vowels. Hasta. Only two.
Hasta.
Hand.
Hasta.
Yes. So you see the H in the word hand. It's the first letter. And what are the vowels in that word?
One
And
and a.
And here's where the abugida comes in. Since they're short sounds, vowels, they are not written. So all you see is the consonants. They're not explicitly written. Now look at the next word. It's yogaha. Yogaha.
Yogaha.
Yoga.
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 Yogaha. 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 Perfect. And what do you notice about the vowels there? How many vowels?
3. No, 2.
Technically 3, because we technically count visarga as a vowel.
3. Yeah.
What is the long, how many long and how many short vowels? One long,
2
and
short.
one short. Yes. And which one is written in that Devanagari?
I don't know.
No, it's the is unwritten. The O is the one that's written. So here, the downstroke with the feather above it is the O. And the G has no vowel explicitly written because it is the automatically associated short And that's how we write visarga in a real word. We put the 2 dots after the consonant that it's associated with. And what the visarga does is it adds a breath sound to that previous vowel. So the Devanagari that I put in the middle is yoga, no visarga. But the first I asked is yogaha, and it adds a breath sound to the So does that make sense? Any questions? Okay, all good. So whenever you see those 2 dots, you're going to know it's visarga, and you're going to know it affects the sound of the vowel before it and adds a breath sound to it. We'll see more of that as we go forward. Now, one more look at hasta. This is a bad font, but the 2 middle, the second and the third consonants should be touching each other. So what that is, if you look at the I asked, is a compound consonant.
ST?
Yes. ST. So it's a separate S and a separate T. So basically, the S goes with the first syllable of hus, and the T goes with the second syllable of hus, which is a hasta, which is ta, hasta. But in Sanskrit, when you write this, you have to squish. That's a good English word, meaning to put together, combine the two consonants.
But how do you know that there's an after at the end of the always is after?
Ah,
After the
right. When the two are put together, and they should be touching, I'm sorry about the font, you know there's no vowel in between them. But because there is no marker at the end after the ta, you know there's a sound, an sound after the ta. So it's a hasta. If there were no sound and you just wanted to say hust, which is not a sound, what would you have?
No mark. There's no mark after the ta. You said
There's no mark here after the ta. So what does that mean?
ah.
Yeah, it has
Yeah. Oh.
But if you wanted to have it so that there was no sound, what would you have to do?
I don't know. Put like a put the line.
With that little line, virama. I think we learned that. Anusvara, virama. The anusvara, the visarga, and the virama are three marks that help you understand vowels. The anusvara nasalizes the vowel. It's a dot on top. The visarga gives a breath sound to the vowel, and it's the two dots. And the virama says no vowel at all. And it's at the very end of a word. Sometimes you see it in the middle, but it's supposed to be at the end. And it means just stop right there. Like vam, that has no vama, it's just vam. So the M would have to have virama.
Yeah, but the S and the T should be together in the
Yes.
in Devanagari. And they are
Devanagari.
not. They are not.
It's a bad font. I excuse myself.
Okay.
They should be
together. All right.
We are trying to get this good font, which was called Sanskrit 2003, into our system, because that's how I create these slides. But every time I send them in Telegram or email, this switches fonts. So we're
right. Okay.
working on this. I'm sorry.
Excuse. You are excused.
Thank you. All right, next slide. We'll see a little bit more. Same bad font, although the chart is in a better font. So if we assume that second character and the third character were actually touching, which they're supposed to be, which of these Devanagari characters do you think those two look like? And look at the Devanagari. You know it's a sta sound, right? Yeah. So look at the sibilants down at the bottom. Is there any sibilant that might be related to this character as it's written? Would it be the first shra? Does it look like that?
The ta, the fourth varga.
The fourth varga ta is there. But what is that first mark in the middle?
In the middle should be
right. Yukta. It's the sa.
Okay.
What they did is they chopped the sa in half. They took off the downstroke and jammed it together onto the ta. So that is what a compound consonant is going to look like. Some element from the first consonant and some element from the second consonant.
Yeah, but it it has more elements in the word.
Which elements?
I mean, it's like two lines. There's another line going down.
Well, that's part of the ta, right? The one that's going down. Look at the fourth varga,
Yeah,
the first letter. That has
exactly.
a
Yeah,
downstroke.
that's clear.
Yeah.
But the
The
sa,
tha also has a downstroke, but when it's in a compound consonant, that downstroke was removed.
okay, that's the third sa. Okay, I was looking the sa with the dot. I'm sorry.
Oh, don't look at the dot.
Yeah,
Look at the last one.
exactly. The last one. Yeah, it's correct. Yeah.
Yes. So you just take the downstroke off that, and that funny curve with the line is what is represented in the word hasta.
Understood. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the ha. It comes with the automatic short and the S and the T are one sound, sta with the automatic short attached, but not between them. It's not sata, it's sta.
Mm-hmm.
So that will just get you used to all the wonderful Sanskrit we're going to see. Okay, let's look at the next slide. I promised you 10 vowels. I mean consonants. Oh, that's just what we went through. Okay, never mind that. There they are. So this first one on the left is a ksha. Everybody open their mics and say ksha.
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 Ksha. Exactly.
Ksha.
And that is a guttural ka and a cerebral shra jammed together into a compound consonant. So we say ksha. Say ksha.
Ksha. Ksha.
Ksha.
And it doesn't really look like anything. We could not guess that the way we guessed the sa and the ta in the previous word, hasta. You can't guess this. You have to learn it because it really doesn't look like anything. And the second one there is the jna. Say jna.
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 And that is a palatal j and a palatal n. So it's jna. Say jna again a couple of times.
Jna. 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 Jna.
Palatal. Jna. Good.
Jna.
And again, you would not be able to recognize that by deconstructing the shapes because it doesn't look like anything we know. It's just its own character. So we have to learn it. So one more slide. Next slide. Yep. Again, we've switched fonts, and this is not my favorite font, and also the combined letters are not touching, and they should be. But the important part is the first letter in the first word. Everybody say kshante. Kshante.
Shanti.
Kshante.
Shanti. Shanti.
Kshante. Have you heard this word?
Shanti. 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 Shanti.
That sound, the K sound?
It's the kshante sound, right?
Shanti.
Patience.
Shanti.
Patience.
With the K.
The k sound at the beginning stuck to a sh sound. Kshante.
Kshanti.
Shanti.
Kshanti.
Kshante.
Kshanti.
Shanti.
It's actually not the shanti, shanti, shanti from the mantra, because that's a word that means peace. It's from shams. So this is a different word, kshante, and it is the third perfection of wisdom, right? Kshante, patience. This is the way you combat anger. You apply patience to it. Okay. And the second word there is, how would you pronounce that? Somebody pronounce it with long and shorts for me.
No, no.
Yes, good. Jnana. Jnana. And that is a word. Oh, we need the slide. We'll have one more. We're 1 minute over, but we're almost done. So that is the word for wisdom. Jnana.
Shnana.
No.
Not shanana. Jnana. Hard dra. Jnana.
No, no.
No.
Exactly. So that's not that easy to say, but you recognize those compound consonants which are unique, and they cannot be deconstructed from the Devanagari that we are learned. Okay, so I wanted to make a quick comment that pretty soon Geshe Michael will be teaching Door Bridge to the Diamond Way 5, and it will be at Diamond Mountain. It will be live online, and it's March 4th to March 15th. So if anybody wants to get Diamond Way later this year, please sign up and attend Bridge to the Diamond Way 5 coming up on March 4th. And you can get this on the ACI website. And if you are short of cash or short of money, when you sign up and it asks you to insert the payment, just put a 0 or anything that you can afford. And that is a scholarship that ACI will give you. So no excuses not to attend. And Lisa Lee is here. Lisa, welcome. I'm so glad that you got the connection. And Lisa says, go. Well, thank you for being here today. Thank you for learning Sanskrit. And remember to rejoice, because you are all spreading wisdom around the world, and it's amazing. And promise me that you will coffee meditate tonight on what you did today. Thank you again. See you next week.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Teacher Christina. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Thank
bye.
you, Christina. Bye.
Bye.
Good, good. I'm so happy. That's okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
A. Yes, baby. 对，怎么了？